the world's most powerful weapon? I repeat my question. Can you please tell me which is the world's most powerful weapon?
Knowledge.
Yes, knowledge. So you can put the responses on the chat box. I see. I can see. You can put it in the chat box. Let's not disturb everyone. So yeah, quickly, I will have 1 minute of time. I would like. So please put on mute. Otherwise, I'll have to mute everyone. So yeah, I see first answer as education. I would like to see some other responses. So guys, if you are like, let's make this as an engaging. I know there's a nuclear weapon. Yeah, that sounds really dangerous. Yeah, guys, one. So there are a lot of. Please do not annotate. Please do not annotate. So. Yeah, so yes, please, money. I do not see do not see any other answers, but yeah, I see the first one was education, and there was knowledge. So the answer is very clear. So answer is very clear. That is, education is the world's most powerful weapon. Okay, so. And the more and more we invest on ourselves in terms of education, that's going to play a very important role. Yes, we will move on with the program. To give a small introduction, TVS Training Services, which has a lot of divisions and trains a lot of students, irrespective of different areas. Okay? Right from engineering students, diploma students, we do technical trainings, we do placement trainings, technical training in terms of emerging technology, placement training in terms of productions, mechanical engineering. We also do a government training as well, where we do deliver the training for the diploma and ITA students, and we place them. We are an empaneled trainer, trainers for the ICICI and HDFC programs. So apart from that, a lot of other activities. You can stay tuned, and also when you're free, you can have a Google TVS Training Services and get a lot of information. So I will not to get into the program. I request everyone to put on your mute. So today's guest is Mr. Kalyan Raman. We call him as Mr. Kalyan. He has an immense amount of experience in terms of recruitment, number one, handling people, and he has worked with some of the top-notch organizations, right, like Renault, Nissan, and everything. And he has some fantastic education background. So more than 3 decades of experience. That's number one, in handling people, bringing strategies, and focusing on top line, developing the organization in terms of profit strategies, and from one direction to another direction. He's a fantastic motivation speaker, and as well as a fantastic communicator as well. Time management, soft skills is something is forte. So welcome, Mr. Kalyan. We would like to, if you could switch on your screen and. Mr. Kalyan, if you're there on, really great. Just give us, I think there's some technical glitch. Welcome, Mr. Kalyan. I think there was some technical glitch. So thanks for being on our program, and it is really great to have you. And thanks for having you on here. I hope my voice is loud and clear, Mr. Kalyan.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. So yes, today we have a lot of students who have joined our program, and they are very eager to ask questions. So before getting into their questions, let's focus on certain things which will be really helpful for our students, and your knowledge is going to be immensely helpful. You did your introduction. So we will quickly move on to the questions without any further delay. Ideally, we have about 3 to 5 minutes for each question we have. So our kids are really waiting for your responses. So as today, we have a lot of engineering students from different institutions. So every engineer wants to know what is because each topics, like today is the, EV industry is the buzz in terms of after a long time a mechanical and automobile division has become a buzz, and something which you would also like to answer. So as an engineer, what is the best strategy to get a job in EV industry?
Okay. First of all, good afternoon to each and everyone who was joined with us. Really appreciate and thank you so much for your time. The question is like the best strategy to get a job in EV, electrical vehicle industry. Okay, right. Sam said that it isn't a buzz word in the industry, but I wouldn't call that it is a buzzword, because we started in 2015 itself how we have to implement the electrical vehicle in the market. Of course, the best strategy to get into the job is basically earlier days we were talking about only mechanical engineer or only automobile engineer can only do it, but there is no board in terms of the branches which we are looking especially to work on the EV industry. We need each and every one, whether you are a software engineer, whether you are a hardware engineer, or even a telematic engineer, whoever it is, the job is very, very open, and we need around 20 to 25,000 million people across the globe where we have to work on the EV industry. So maybe over a period of time, while the discussion is going on, we will explain which are the branches where we need people, how they can penetrate into the EV industry and get more number of opportunity and get employment.
Thank you, Mr. Kalyan. I think that is really good. I see a lot of institutions in today's scenario have started investing in this area. And one of the institutions right from Bangalore, as well as in China, in other areas as well, they have equipping, their staffs have equipped very much, and their students are also getting developed in these areas at very high part. So what do you have to, if at all, if the student has to pick up some things, like for example, what do you suggest where he should start? Do you have some few points if you could suggest this kids, where can he start? Like for example, does he has to do a paper presentation on these areas or something, participate in certain conferences? So where do you think actually initially the student has to start, at least read the articles of this continuously? So what do you, a few suggestions from your side, Mr. Kalyan, on this?
Okay, good. Thanks, sir. First of all, let me just explain what exactly the government is aiding in terms of getting more employment, or people get more employable in this industry. Government of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship is conducting a lot of training program, predominantly on the electric mobility industry. I don't know how many people know about it. In Bangalore, near Bangalore, the Volvo company has started. They have already started recruiting around 2,000 engineers. They need not necessary to hire only the mechanical or electrical or automobile people, but they need different types of people who work as an engineer, whether it is a fresh engineering graduate or an experienced engineering graduate. Because when we see that whenever we manufacture a car, we talk about the interior, exterior, or body, or chassis, etc. And comes to the electrical vehicle project, where we need people who have experience in the chemical, who have been experienced in the electronics industry, who has experience in the thermal engineering, etc., etc. So it is not that like olden days they look only for mechanical engineer or automobile engineer. We need from automobile, we need from manufacturing, we need from chemical engineer, electrical and electronic engineer, power electronics, computer engineering, material science engineering, environmental engineering. There are quite a number of branches which we need people. That is what the world is looking, how we have to improve the revenue in terms of manufacturing more number of cars, especially electric vehicle. It could be anything. It could be on design, or it could be on the feasibility. It could be on the chassis, or it could be in the outer body. We were discussing about only IE engine, but now we are getting it in electrical. So electrical, more or less, your shapes are okay in terms of how you have to develop your car or the vehicle, but internally how you have to totally make the infrastructure change of your battery. So when you change that, then everything will change automatically. Your powertrain will change. It could be on the motors, or could be on the converters, could be on the design interior, exterior, and how you plan your specification in terms of architecture of your vehicle. There are so many things, and especially how to design the vehicle body in terms of aerodynamic, or could be on the steering system, or on the brakes, or on the suspension, right? When the question is like how to build your successful career, very simple, where whether you are an engineer with a mechanical or automobile or electronics or electrical or whoever it is, you have an ample opportunity to get employment in the industry. Let me just give an example. One is the battery management system, right? So where so far we are charging, discharging, and we need to know that is it 12 by 24 volt or 352 volt. In case if I install 350 watt, how we can make sure that there is a lot of safety in the vehicle while running, or on the idle mode, how we are going to maintain the vehicle. There are so many, right? From the battery perspective, you see how to do the algorithm engineer. So there is a lot of algorithm engineer where they can do the implementation control and estimation algorithm, and how you want battery, how do you manage, etc., etc. But if you see from the telematic or data analytics engineer, okay, though it is not related directly to the electrical vehicle, but at the same point in time, there are a lot of parts which generates the data. So how we are going to store all the data? It all comes under the cloud computing. So it will be where people have more experience on the data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc., etc. So precisely, don't ever think that I'm a civil engineer. Do I get a job? Yes, you get a job, provided you need to channel your energy in terms of where you would like to fit into, where you need to attend some training program, what the TVSC is conducting, or any institute which you feel that where you gain your knowledge. That's the most important point which I want to emphasize here. Like attending the training, do a lot of case studies, because electrical vehicle, it's quite new to the globe. It's not only for India. So do a lot of research and development activities, then you would be in a position to know that to what extent we can hone your skills. It could be anything. It could be on the chemical, it could be on electrical, it could be on power electronics, or it could be on computer science. In computer science, if you take, people have to do a lot of to write the codes. They have to find out how they can do the station engineering, or we can do on the quality control or proto development engineering. There are so many. So ample opportunities available, especially on the electric vehicle, right? So you have to take a breath and immediately to find out how I can hone my skills. Depends upon the stream which you have already done or which you are doing. This course will implement or supplement your knowledge in terms of getting more employmentable opportunity in the world. I wouldn't call only in India, in the world. If you are more strong enough how to focus your future to be a real EV engineer, this is a good opportunity now.
That's fantastic. First, a fantastic response, and I think it's a very elaborated one. I think our students would have been benefited. If there is any technical skills, dear students, you can view this in YouTube. The recording is also available. Please do take notes. Yes, of course, we will take your questions at the last. So we will quickly move to the next question. Just give me a moment. Yeah, so I think Mr. Kalyan had, I will be skipping this question. I think Mr. Kalyan Raman sir has completely touched based on that. So it will be a kind of a repetition. So I would not touch that. What my question, Mr. Kalyan, sir, what do you expect current industries? I mean, there's always a lot of talk from past 10, 15 years. The industries keep blaming the institutions and institutions keep blaming this ball keeps moving from one direction to another direction. And there is always a statement that the students are not ready for the industries. So what through this current EV segment is kind of in a boom. So a lot of industries have come and there's a lot of work going on. What is their expectation? If you could give some capsules from the what does these industries expect from the candidates? So few tips for our students. I can take this question for 2 to 3 minutes from you, Mr. Kalyan, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, as I already mentioned, there is a barrier in terms of the branches. So, sir, I done civil or I done my chemical. How do I think that I am fit to the EV industry? Right. So, the most important aim that you should have in your life is how I can be an electrical vehicle engineer, or how I can get an opportunity to work in the EV segment. Point number one. Point number two, how I can able to optimize or utilize the available training program in the market, which is predominantly of your own interest. As already mentioned, the first preference I can give for the chemical engineer or thermal engineer, the mechanical engineer. Predominantly, if you see, most of the people are qualified mechanical engineer or electrical engineer or electrical electronics or ECE, computer engineering. If you take a mechanical engineer, they can go into, we divide into two divisions. One is on the manufacturing, how they manufacture the entire product. And the second one is how to design the product. And the another one is the thermal, or could be like you are talking about a 4.0 industry, right? The new concept is available in the market, or go on the IoT, right? So it comes from the mechanical or from the thermal engineering. From the hardware side, it could be on the embedded system engineer, where they can do a testing on the hardware side or on the software side, or they can write on codes on embedded C, Simulink, or Atto side. So these are the latest technologies or latest tool available to get more employment opportunity. Hope I'm clear.
I mean, I think this EV segment, I'm so happy. This segment is giving so much of wide opportunities for all the engineers. So if I have to rephrase, Mr. Kalyan, sir, it's like engineer should be good at all the areas, but has to be excellent, and he has to possess excellent knowledge in one area, but has to be an all-rounder. So the engineer, that's the expectation from today's industry, and
Exactly.
he should have a perfect. I think that this answer would be really helpful for our current generation students, because there is ample amount of information in the internet, and they also make use of a lot of other things. So we will quickly move on to the next question. So there is a lot of information in the Google, and there are a lot of certifications, a lot of diploma programs, face-to-face, online, blended. How does, number one, it helps? Do you think internships or the projects in EV area, that's going to be changed, the game changer for the student? So how do you think these certifications and diploma program will help? And that has to be translated. Do you think that has to be translated in terms of project, where when they attend the interview, they can show that, sir, I have done this, a prototype, this is my project. Do you think that will be a game changer for the students?
Yes, Sam. Good question. First of all, we'll have to accept that we are young in EV industry across India. Very few OEMs has just produced one or two models, but still we need to check whether it is a successful model in the market. And now most of the OEM is started coming in the country, how we can reduce the cost of electric vehicle. For that, they need people. Being a HR person, when I'm just interviewing the candidate, whether it is a fresh engineering or it is a experienced engineering graduate, say that I have knowledge, for example, installation, or if you say that embedded C or AutoCAD, whatever it is, they say that I have thorough knowledge. You may have a thorough knowledge theoretically, but practically, people expect you to work. When I hire a person, maybe within 20, 30, or maybe 45 days of your onboarding program got over, you need to be well added to the system or to the organization. So for which you should have some live experience or real-time experience. How do we go now? We don't have any opportunity because it's just hardly 1 year old or maybe 1.5 year old. Though we are talking about since 2015 about the electric vehicle, but just hardly a year only we have just rolled out some of the models in the market. But there could be a failure or there could be a success, or there could be a maintenance area where we need to focus on how we have to venture into it. So it's a small request to all the students or the people who are in the link, they should have some real-time knowledge. They have to undergo some experience so that they would be in a position to excel, or they would be in a position to demonstrate himself or herself, so that I have an experience on these domain.
Correct.
Right? When I hire a person for electric vehicle product, I will expect the person should be electronics engineer or electrical engineer or thermal engineer, materials or environmental or chemical. Predominantly, we need a lot of people on the chemical engineering. So it is basically how to pack the battery or how to make the cell design. If you know the cell is being manufactured and getting imported from China. In India, we are not doing anything. Okay. Now, most of the companies started R&D. They are doing a lot of research and development to manufacture the cell here itself. Then how do you do the battery modeling and testing? So if you, I'm just giving an example. If you are on a chemical engineer, sir, what is the scope from the EV perspective? Yes, this is the perspective. For that, you need to have more knowledge, in-depth knowledge. When I say more knowledge, in-depth knowledge about that product or about that domain, and plus you need to have a real-time experience. It could be a case study, or it could be anything where you can do some project, or you can attend some training program, and in that training program, you will also try to get an opportunity to do a real-time experience project, which will definitely influence you to be a good employee or to be employed in the organization.
Thank you, Mr. Kalyan. I think that's a fantastic answer. I mean, it's all direct from each passionate area, or the person lands up and does a research. That's because of a program, that's because of a professor or teacher who had taught him in such a different way, where he got ignited and started working on that area. I think today's session also, your answers would be igniting our audience as well. So we'll quickly move on to the next question. And I would also like to tell the students, if you have any doubts, if you would like to ask questions, please do put it in your chat box. We will look at the end and take question. I will go question by question. Okay. So yeah, quickly I will move with coming back to with Mr. Kalyan, and some fantastic question. Now we got it from the some of the audiences. Where do you see this industry in another 5 years? How would be the job market for the students? So Mr. Kalyan, getting deep into this before this, I have some my own personal experiences. Because 5-6 years back, everyone was talking about big data. And now the big data has moved into several ways ahead. And what happened is now people talk about artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science. So from the word big data, it has moved so forward. So similarly, coming back to this EV industry, do you think this world will move way ahead, and we'll have a lot of other new technologies coming in? Or do you think this will expand in terms of straightways, getting into the 2-wheeler, 3-wheeler, 4-wheelers? How do you think about this, Mr. Kalyan? Is it going to be a big change game in alternate fuels? Okay, good, sir. You said 5 years. I don't know. Somebody asked 5 years. It is not 5 years. 2 years. 2 years. All right.
you will find leaps and bounds of growth.
All right. Okay.
It is not that you are going to just going to see a growth only maybe 5 or 10 or 20%. As I already mentioned, all the branches, what are the branches which I have mentioned, you have a phenomenal growth. Only thing is how you capture the market, how you capture the employment in the market, which organization you think that when you have a more knowledge, where you have a strong domain skill, it could be on power electronics or computer science or materials, whatever it is, then you can demand the employer. I have an experience. I have done the real-time experience, and why don't you hire me? It is not that way back, maybe I can just code off I can code the software industry development. We started way back, we started around 75, 80 in India on software, but literally we got that around 98. 98, 99 was the boom in the IT industry. Boom. Yeah. Right? And everybody, you know about that Y2K project.
Yeah.
Right? The Y2K project, Kicks, TVT, VSAM, Gopal. Right? That's a training program which most of the institute has charged lakh and off. And all of us, all the people got an employment. It could be with IBM or it could be with the CMC or HCL or whoever the company they've hired, and they have executed the project based on the client's requirement. The same thing is happening for automobile industry now. This is the time. We should get up. We should gear up, and we'll start getting more opportunity to learn. As long as you add feather to the cap, you are the king in the industry. So there is no question saying that, sir, I have done only this. Do I get an opportunity? Yes, you have an opportunity, but how you would like to channelize yourself, how you would like to take it further from that.
I think EV is one segment which will be an all-rounder for all the engineering students, whether you take it computer science, EEE, EC, mechanical, IC, like you already said, that's going to be a big rounder, and this has to be an engineering game changer. So that's why we call it as engineers rule the world, and this product is going to make a remarkable engineers rule the world, and that's going to be big differences, and it will be great. So yeah, I'll quickly move on to without any further delay. I will also move on to the next few questions. I think that's the end from the questions. We'll take few questions from our audience. So dear students, you may put your questions in the chat box. We'll also look at the questions in the YouTube as well. We'll take that as well. So, sir, I'm a mechanical engineering student. Is there any way or resources to learn about battery pack design? If there is, please share it. There is, I think, Pratish. There is a lot of resources, and there's a lot of training things are available, and battery management system and the battery design areas. It's a huge things which is coming on. I think India is all set for two-wheeler segment in terms of EV. I mean, the length and breadth is almost defined, but only thing is the four-wheelers is where the trial and error, all the work is going on. Mr. Kalyan, I apparently had to meet one of the VCs in the predominant universities, and they had also got a huge grant, but the challenge is like India is all set in terms of two-wheelers, but there is a challenge in terms of four-wheelers, because first of all, they do not know where the direction where they want how to invest, because in terms of four-wheeler, they had said to me there's a vehicle chassis issue, and there will be a drive, and there will be battery management, charging units. So the learning is huge in terms of four-wheelers, whereas two-wheelers is a limited, and a person can start his career fast in terms of two-wheeler, and the length and breadth is all defined, and it's all set. So how do you think there is a challenge between two-wheeler EV segment and four-wheeler EV segment, and there is a commercial thing coming on? When I go to the Gujarat, I can see a government bus completely in a battery going on. So how do you see all this, Mr. Kalyan?
Okay, it's a very challenging question to answer. In terms of, the concept would be more or less same. I'm not that technical person, but in terms of the usage, especially on the four-wheeler segment, especially on the automobile, like a car industry, where they would like to introduce more number of electrical vehicle, not only by just converting from engine to electric, but at the same point in time, how they like to change the style, how like to change the system. It could be by connecting the internet and the vehicle itself, right? So that's what they are into EV segment, especially car industry. From the commercial, yes, of course, probably from the quality perspective, like how to minimize the wear and tear, or how to minimize, or how to consume more number of electric vehicle in the commercial segment. That's the way they are looking into. But from the car perspective, they need to look after the safety. That's the most important, right? If something happens, then the company is totally responsible, or the manufacturer is totally responsible. From the two-wheeler perspective, of course, it is though it is a very big segment in terms of number of usage, or people are using the product, but as far as my knowledge concerned, it is not that challenging, which we can do on the EV concept, especially on the two. I may be right or may be wrong, but most of the OEM is focusing on the car segment, saying that how they would like to do a lot of new initiative, or some kind of good strategy which can do it in the segment.
Right. I think that's I think I really asked on a human resource head a tech question, but I think his experience in terms of EV, it's really useful for dear students. I mean, I think some of his experience from Renault, which is here shared, that will be a really useful for this today. You can replay this video, and some of the points when he answered, Mr. Kalyan answered for the second question, that was really immense for all the engineers in today's concept, because this is the one area where you cannot say any engineer is not related, like fantastically matched for the battery and this EV segment, how chemical engineer can fit into this. I mean, that's fantastic. One of the important takeaways where a lot of people have written off this chemical engineering thing. I think that's one of the areas where I think a very important point. So yeah, I will go back to the questions. So I think there are a lot of questions where students are asking, I wanted to know, is the industry ready? I mean, is the industries, Mr. Kalyan, is the industries are ready in terms of like for this transition? I think by and large, they are ready in terms of transition. Like for example, wiping off or keeping the hybrid. I mean, I think industries are ready. That's why at least the two-wheeler segment of EV is taken off. Do you think the people who are going to buy this vehicle, would they accept? How do you look in terms of marketing? I think that's what the students are intended to ask. What are the challenges? So do you think the audience, the buying power will accept? Do you think the buying power, I know Ola has put it already, the registration for Ola two-wheeler, that's number one. But do you think, because I know one of the popular cars long time in a decade back, they came and they said, we will give a cars for 1 lakh. I mean, I'm sure you would be knowing this. So similarly, do you think this is just a buzz, or this buzz will transform into real business?
Okay. As like same 20-25 years before, where we were talking about the boom, same thing this is happening for the automobile also. Initially, all the organization or all the areas where you have teething issue, right? Yeah. So the product which is being changed from IE to electric vehicle, where it's pretty costly to buy, number one. Number two is like what do you call it? The maintenance. How do I charge? Suddenly, if I just buy a car, where do I charge? How do I charge? If I want to run for a 300 or 400, 500 kilometers, in between, if I get need to be charged, then where do I charge my vehicle? Yes, you find a lot of ifs and buts, or you have unpuzzle the questions which will arise in your mind. But that is what the most of the companies are doing R&D.
Okay.
Right? So it is not that it is going to be failure. Initially, yes, all the activities, all the organization, all the product where they find a teething issue. But if you see from the global perspective, from the environmental perspective, they don't want to pollute too much in the universe. They want to save the land. They want to save the country. They want to save the entire atmosphere, right? That's the reason we moved to EV. Of course, India is slightly late, but in terms of infrastructure, yes, we are working. When I say we, India, the Indians are working. But definitely there is a boom. So there is no go back and say that okay, will it get through, or do we find any failure? Yes, of course, maybe few percentage of failure, but definitely we'll cross more than 100%.
So, Mr. Kalyan, I think that's I know. I mean, there will be a lot of challenges, a lot of failures, but I think this is all set. And when you look at the solar things which came, it had similar challenges, but it has now picked up, and there are a lot of people trying to use this, and it's moving on. I'm sure this is also one of the technology which will people will adapt and start using it, because we know that it's going to be the next generation, and that's why. Despite a lot of interest. So dear students, I see a lot of questions in terms of where can I learn this? Do we have a book? Where do we get these resources and all things? So I will quickly go to next slide where this will be really helpful and good info. So TVS Training Services runs a EV program. Okay, we do have all online and as well as a face-to-face program, so you can see the prices as well on the display. Okay, and we are also doing a program. You know that drone is another area where that's going to be another lot of opportunities and people doing a lot of projects and more interesting. Okay, so we are doing a lot of programs on this, and you can see the price, and you can take the snapshots. I will also put this Google link in the chat box. Okay, if you are registering today and before 5 p.m. So we will have the timestamp. If you are registering today before 5 p.m., you get 50% of scholarship. Okay, so we have online, we have face-to-face program, and there is no harm in investing money on their education. Okay, so please do invest some money on education for yourself, and that will be a platform which will be the first point to ignite something on EV. I know there are a lot of people who have attended this webinar and staying here. This will be really helpful. I can quickly take another 5 to 6 questions if you put in the chat box, and this recording will also be sent to you, and it will be also uploaded in YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere. We're already there. So you can ask questions. I will hold Mr. Kalyan for another 5 minutes. And also quickly stop. I will also put this at the last in the Google link. So please do not miss the opportunity. Maybe this may not be helpful for you, but please take screenshots and you can pass it to your WhatsApp to your friends. So this will be really helpful, and we'll also guide you in terms of internships and projects in this area. So yeah, I have got some question. Let me go to the chat box. Now, students are not opting to electrical engineering due to lagging of EEE graduates. So coming to the so it's a typical problem, Mr. Kalyan. I think this student is from Karnataka. That's okay. There is a lot of hype in terms of, like, I see this in all the engineering institutions where engineering college from Bangalore tells me that students are not taking mechanical engineering. That's because students have to travel from one location to one location, and everyone, irrespective of whatever domain, they preferring IT. So can you just give some advice for our students how this has to be looked at it?
Okay, if I understand the question, sorry, just repeat again. I'm not able to connect.
Yeah, Mr. Kalyan, what is the student's question was, of students are not opting electrical engineering, and
okay,
and how do you expect the core jobs? That's one. And a lot of engineering colleges also is saying that, like, mechanical engineer, engineering itself is dropping. Civil is already written off. Everyone is running towards IT. is that's few comments about it. And I mean, I have my own views, but it has to be come from an experienced person like you.
Okay, I got it. Fine. Sorry to ask this question again. I didn't get it correctly. Right. First of all, there is a two way we have to look into it. One is from the institute's perspective or the college perspective. They want to get more number of admission on the mechanical or electrical or IT. In IT, they're talking about BE or BTech IT, computer science, or then they talk about MCA, closed on the MCA also. Now, I understand the question is saying that when we have a lot of opportunity for the EV, what they will do if they opt for IT industry, right? There is no, okay, maybe one or two colleges closed on the mechanical or electrical. I don't have much idea about it. I don't want to make comment on that. But still, I would suggest the students, if they are really interested to pursue their career in the engineering, especially on the automobile or electrical, electronics or mechanical or chemical, please go ahead. Don't ever stop, right? I'm not good in one area, and if somebody forced me to take that stream, mean that you will find a catastrophic failure. So never ever do that. Never ever do that. Try to choose the area where you feel more comfortable or more interesting to pursue your career, right? Maybe you have to, I don't know, maybe you have to travel a few bit of miles or kilometers to check the institute where you're looking for the right stream where you can pursue your career. But not necessary that, okay, there is no scope by studying mechanical or electrical or electronics, computer engineering. No, it is not. I'll never say that. Each and every stream has unique. If you take a EEE, electrical and electronics engineering, quite number of people needed for most of the embedded system company. They won't take IT company. IT stream. Whereas the IT stream will fit onto all the streams, but at the same point in time, they'll give first priority, high priority for the mainstream. If I'm looking at EEE guy, I'll just look at only EEE. Maybe I can train the person who has studied or completed in the computer science or IT or MCA. So it is not that to distinguish like this is the industry where this is the stream I have to take, or this is a stream I'm not to take. It shows your interest first of all. Don't ever deviate your interest because of the market. Because of the market. 20, 30 years before we were 30, 40, 50 years before we were studied. We studied only mechanical or the most maximum automobile. And after that, you find so many things: electrical, electronics, mechatronics, powertronics. There are so many streams have come, right? So it is not you need to do only IT. I totally disagree with that, because the world is not going to live only with IT industry. Definitely, we need the engineering streams.
Fantastic lines, Mr. Kalyan. I think that sums up for the today's evening. I think our students will take back that lines very happily, because the emerging technologies is not only in terms of computer science with the words called artificial intelligence and machine learning. It is also on the core engineering area within a different spectrum of EV, where the electrical, mechanical, EEE, computer science, mechatronics, metrology, automobile, even the computer science engineers can be a part of it. So to find out, please register, talk to our experts. They will call you within 5 p.m. Talk to our experts, make use of it. Thank you, Mr. Kalyan Raman. I think you've taken time. Yes, please.
I need to add. We were discussing about various teams, but we want to add, I need to add some more things, like we're looking for CAE engineer, computer aided engineer, vehicle simulation engineers.
Yes.
For the EV industry, quality control, proto development engineer, EMI or EMC engineer. You must be knowing, you're all engineering graduate. System architect engineer, wireless development engineer.
Okay.
That there is no scope for you. Don't ever say that.
Fantastic. I think
There is a will, there is a way. Nothing like the same thing. How you need to equip yourself. Don't say that I have a bad luck. Now all the opportunities are available in India. Wherever you go, you can attend the training program. Okay, now Sam has mentioned electric vehicle training program. Why don't you look at it? Look into it. Have a look and just find out how best you can try to probe yourself. Okay, how you can enhance my knowledge, how I can get more number of opportunities to get employed in the industry. That's a message.
Thank you, Mr. Kalyan Raman. I think it was fantastic having you on the show. So guys, if you have any doubts, you can, we will stop our video and this will close in another 5 minutes. Mr. Kalyan Raman and myself will log off, but please do register, make use of it. Thank you very much. And thanks for taking time. This recording will be there on the YouTube and Facebook as well. If you have any doubts, you have the email IDs, you can drop in a message and we will reply your queries in 4 to 5 hours, the max. And if there is any questions, I can take it in the chat box. If it is a repeated questions, I will take some few questions. If there is a questions, so I think there is no questions. I think we are good to go. Thank you, Mr. Kalyan, and thank you, dear students, and thanks for taking time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for all and wish you all the best. Thank you, Sam. Take care.
Thank you.